My life's been crazy the last 2 years. I became homeless. I ended up going to jail, and my dad also passed away. At that point, I got really bad into drugs. I ended up overdosing 5 times.
There was blood, everything was thrown all around the place. Her eyes are rolling around. Like, she's not conscious. I'm like, you wrecked my car.
Wait.
Yeah.
Plaintiff Jessica Hood claims the defendant borrowed her car to visit her probation officer, but wound up ODing on drugs and totaling the car. She's suing for $5,000. Defendant Autumn Cage admits to crashing the car, but says accidents happen. She says she owes nothing.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. The Honorable Judge Jerry Springer now presiding. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Najee. How are you?
I'm doing well, Judge. Thank
Good.
you. This is case number 117 on the docket. Hood versus Cage.
Thank you,
You're
and welcome to both of you.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Let's see what we have here. We have the plaintiff, Jessica Hood. And Jessica, you are suing your former friend, Autumn Cage, for $5,000 for car damage.
Yes.
So let's begin with you, Jessica. What is your case?
Me and Autumn, we've been friends for a very long time, since
Yes.
like middle school.
Oh, great.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah.
In 2018, I went and I bought my first brand new car, 2019 Kia Soul. Drove it off the lot 20 miles on the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, so last year she needed somewhere to live, and I have my own place. So I let her move in with me. And she had appointments and stuff. Usually I would take her, but this time I had an interview. So I needed to get ready for my interview. I was like, take my car, go do what you need to do, come right back. So it's getting closer and closer to the time that I need to leave, and I call her. I'm like, where are you at? And she's like, I'm 15 minutes away. I'm like, okay, good. Like, I need to go to my interview.
Sure.
So 15 minutes come and gone. She's not there. So I'm calling, and in between calling her, I call my brother. I'm like, can you please let me use your car? Like, I have an interview. I can't miss it. He's like, yeah, sure. He let me use his car. So the whole way to my interview, I'm calling her. No answer. Calling her. I pull up to my interview. The paramedics answer the phone.
A paramedic answers her phone?
Yes. Because the car was totaled.
Ooh.
They didn't know exactly who she was. I'm like, her name's Autumn. I'm like, what car? Because, I figured it was mine, but I didn't.
Oh, they didn't know what, did
Yeah, it was a really
ask
bad
her?
accident.
Oh, was
She
it?
wasn't conscious
Oh, my gosh.
when they got to the scene.
Yeah.
So they asked me who she was, and I told them, I'm like, what car is it? I was praying it wasn't mine. It was mine. I'm like, is it bad? They're like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Okay. Just time out for a second. You're asking if the car is bad.
Yeah.
Your friend is
I was
unconscious.
so mad. Oh, I asked. I'm like, what's wrong with her? They told me she was unconscious. I told her her name, and I asked where they were taking her. But literally, this was as I'm pulling up at my interview, like I'm out of the car.
Yeah.
And finally, they answer the phone. I'm
Yeah.
like, and then they told me that. So I start bawling my eyes out.
Because your friend was hurt.
Because her and the car, and I don't know what's going
the
on,
car.
and I don't have my car. I'm in my brother's car, and
Yeah.
he needs it back. I need to do my interview.
Okay, I'm just as a human being being interested in this. I'm trying to think if, God forbid, I got a call that that a close friend of mine was in an accident unconscious.
Yeah.
I don't know it would ever cross my mind, gee, what condition is the car in?
Well,
What
I
am-
knew I didn't
what-
have gap, and I do care about her. I cared. It was more than is the car
yeah.
okay,
I can
obviously.
see the tears.
Because I went
Yeah.
to the hospital.
Yeah.
Like literally, I left my interview,
Okay, so you did then.
and
yeah.
I went straight to the hospital.
Right, because
Yeah.
you didn't know which garage they took the car to.
Yeah. No, not because of that.
My life's been crazy the last 2 years. I got out of an abusive relationship
Yes,
out of 5 years, and my dad also passed away.
sorry.
And so my life was being abused for so long and tamed in. I just someone cut the leash of a wild pit bull, and I just went completely wild. And then I became homeless around October, and that's when I moved in with Jessica. And I ended up going to jail in January, and I lost my car and almost lost my place to stay when I went to jail.
And you went to jail for what?
I'd rather not talk about it,
Okay.
if that's fine.
Yeah.
So then when I was in jail, someone actually stole my car. And so I haven't gotten it back. And so when I was going to probation, I had to report every week to probation, and Jessica let me use her car.
What happened at the hospital?
Oh, Lord. This is going to make me sound even worse. So
No, you're sounding good. Go
so
ahead.
I go in, and obviously I'm mad because it's my car. It's my...
Oh, your car.
Yeah. Yes, I'm worried about her, too, but...
Yeah, but, you know.
It's different when somebody's like, they're going to do one thing, and then they lie about what they're doing with your car.
What did she lie about?
She was not where she was supposed to go, and back to my house where my car was not even near where she was supposed to be. So she was out doing things that she was not supposed to be doing in my car in the first place.
Yeah.
If she was doing what she was supposed to be doing,
Then
she
you would care about her.
No, yeah, and she would have never wrecked my car. She was supposed to go to probation and come back home. And that is not what happened.
Okay, so what happened at the hospital?
So I get to the hospital.
Yeah.
I go in the room. I'm like, she's not really. Her eyes are rolling around. Like, she's not conscious. I'm like, Autumn, you wrecked my car.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Her eyes are rolling around.
Okay,
and
I'm
she's
not
not
like, I was
conscious.
mad.
And you're trying to talk to her, not, honey, wake up, can you hear me? Give
No,
me
I did.
thumbs up.
I said, can you hear me?
Yeah, but you weren't sure she could. But if
No,
she could hear you, you were going to make gosh darn sure that she knew
she
how
wrecked my
angry
car,
you were
yes.
about the car.
Because I love her. I love her to death.
Oh,
Loved
well,
her.
no, you almost loved her to death.
Yeah. Either way.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you wrecked my
But
car.
you-
Yes,
yeah,
I said
you
it.
wrecked- and you
Yeah.
said it. But you're being honest now, and I appreciate that. So,
And
yeah.
the police officer came in the room and got me there. Like, the accident was really bad.
Najee is a firefighter.
Okay.
And you're probably at accidents and stuff like that. And have you seen when people come to the accident that there's this concern about the condition of the car? I mean, if someone's unconscious?
No, not in that situation.
No.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, he has. Well,
I knew I didn't have gap.
yeah.
So-
Well, okay, there is a gap in the
Either way,
the
I was already
sensitivity
mad
there.
because she knew I had responsibilities that I needed to do.
Yeah.
And she knew that she wasn't doing what she needed to be doing.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah, I'm not saying she was doing the right thing, and we'll find
Which,
out in
if
a
she
moment.
would have told me that she wasn't actually going to probation,
You
she
would
knew.
have cared about her living then.
No, but she knew I wouldn't have let her take my car.
Yeah.
When the car flipped, I was the nurses told me I was halfway in the car and halfway out the car. There was blood everywhere. It took them a while to get me back. I don't remember getting x-rays or CAT scans or any of that. That all got happened during then. Jessica said she came, and I don't really remember her coming.
Sure. I get that. Okay.
So they told me it was really bad.
Yeah.
I went and got a rental car.
Where did the defendant go? That you keep saying she went where she wasn't supposed to go.
Where did you go, Autumn?
I mean, can I tell my part now?
Well, you can tell that part.
I went and picked up something from a friend.
You could pick up something from a man. Oh, a piece
friend.
of luggage?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Does it rhyme with UGG?
Yeah. Drugs.
Drugs. See how it rhymes with UGG? Okay, go ahead.
So then that day I went to probation, and then I knew she had an interview, and I was being irresponsible because I didn't care about anybody else, because when I was a full-blown addict, I didn't care who I hurt or what I did.
Yeah.
So I ended up going to cop drugs from someone, and I ended up doing them before I get home. I know it's a bad way to look at it, but if I didn't do that bag and crash the car, I wouldn't have lived to be here today, because I would have did it when I got home and probably overdosed and died, because I did end up overdosing.
Okay, but in any event, obviously she shouldn't have been doing that, but she did.
Yeah.
And now you're bringing this lawsuit because your car is damaged.
I went and got a rental car. I went to the junkyard to see my car. I have in my evidence page 1 through 3 are pictures of my car,
Yeah.
and I also have a video of the car.
Yeah, I'd like to see the video.
Damn.
At the time you were taking this picture, was Autumn conscious by then?
I
Or
think
you
they
just
gave her
left
something to sedate her.
Yeah, you just left her at the hospital and...
We'll get to. You'll see that I care about her.
Yeah,
Eventually.
Oh,
Not.
yeah.
Okay.
You
so
care so much you bought a suit.
I didn't even get anything out of the car. The airbags all
Yeah.
came out. There was blood. Everything was thrown all around the
Yeah.
place. So I didn't get anything out of the car. So I did go back to the hospital multiple times.
Okay,
They
well-
released her after 3 days.
Okay, so
I
that
picked
was
her
good.
up. So we had talked about the car. I was making $415 a month payments on the car.
Yeah, you still owed money on it.
Yeah, I didn't have gap. That plus I needed another car because I work
Yeah.
I live in Delaware. I work in Maryland.
Oh,
So I have to commute back and forth every day. So I had to go get another car, plus paying for the rental car, plus getting a new car. I had to put $3,000 down to get a new car. Plus I pay payments on my new car, which are $350 a month, plus $415 a month. I couldn't pay that.
sure, I understand.
So we had agreed that she would make the payments on the car.
Is it a written agreement or?
No, that's what I'm getting to though.
Okay.
After we had agreed on it, she was waiting on an inheritance.
An inheritance from whom?
Her grandfather passing away.
Your grandfather passed away.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have in my evidence, let me see.
Yeah, tell me
Text
what you...
messages where she's stating
And
that
what number is that?
T2 you can go to.
Okay, if you would read,
And it says from her grandma, because we were in a group text, because her grandma is the one who had the inheritance money. So what am I sending to Jessica? How much? Autumn, $15,000. And then she said, Grandma, try Facebook Pay. Jessica, I am sending it now through bank-to-bank transfer. It can take up to 4 hours, and it should be instant. Autumn, and then that's kind of irrelevant. But either way, I never got the money. Never got it.
All right, let me now go to Autumn on the inheritance that you agreed to pay out of your inheritance.
Yeah, so my inheritance got taken away last June. I don't know if my grandmother can legally do that, but she seen that I had a problem.
The inheritance came from whom?
My grandfather. We went
Okay,
to,
when your grandfather passed away, he left you X amount of dollars. And how is your grandmother involved? Is she the
she's like-
executor?
yes.
Okay, so she's the executor, but the money is yours.
Yes. But in January, last June is when I started using, and so she seen I had a problem when I got my first check and blew it in a month. She said that she would agree to pay to Jessica. I don't feel like I should have to pay because it was an accident. Accidents happen when you let someone borrow your car. So then in June, I end up moving out of Jessica's house and going to North Carolina and living with my mom. At that time, I cut all ties with Jessica, and then I end up doing some other stuff I did not agree to her, like trying to use her bank information and falsify her name and all that. So then I finally came back to Delaware
I picked
in
her up.
July. And yeah, she picked me up. She drove all the way to North Carolina, even though she hated me. Well, I'm not gonna say hate, but she was really mad at me at that time. And I got really bad into drugs at that point, and I ended up overdosing 5 times this year. You know, I still felt like my grandmother should have had to pay it, and she didn't pay it. And I feel like I shouldn't have to pay it because accidents do happen when you let someone borrow your car.
Let me just say, I understand how drugs can overtake you, and
I have
it's a
54 days clean
disease.
today.
I get, so I'm not making any fun about that. But right now you're clean, right?
I have 54 days clean today. I went to rehab August 25th. I live in a clean, sober house. I also been on the run for the last 6 months, and I'm finally took care of all that too.
Okay.
So yes, I've got my life back together.
Congratulations on that, and
Thank
keep
you.
it like that. Now, what is the evidence on the cost of the damage to the car?
They covered what the car was worth. So that's
Yes.
all they covered. I just got a paper yesterday from the bank. It's on page 11.
Okay?
And it has the total price left after I've been making monthly payments on the car still since August 7th. I'm
Okay,
paying
and that amount is?
$7,412.87.
Okay, I see it.
Yeah.
Autumn, now that I know that you're of sound mind, the one thing you said which struck me, which I could understand you saying it while you're under the influence of drugs, but of sound mind, you must understand you're a grown-up.
Yeah.
She let you borrow her car. There is no conceivable, fair, ethical, moral reason that because you behaving as you shouldn't have, but in any event, You were driving the car, something you wanted. You weren't doing her a favor by driving her car. She didn't say, could you go get me something? And then something happened, which, let's say, wasn't your fault. There's an argument to be said that you were running an errand for her.
Yeah.
You weren't running an errand for her.
No.
And there's no fair way that she should be stuck losing her car, thousands of dollars, but way more amount of money that she lost only because she was nice to you, and then you said it was an accident, accidents happen. That doesn't mean someone's not responsible for it.
Yeah.
Accidents happen, and the person responsible for the accident, it's called an accident because you didn't do it on purpose. No one's accusing you of doing this on purpose. It's not a crime, but it's an accident. An accident, the one who is responsible for the accident, which in this case clearly was you, that's the one that should pay. She shouldn't have to pay. So even though I was teasing her and half teasing about the first response when a friend is in an accident should be, oh my gosh, I hope my friend's okay.
Yeah.
But that aside, it doesn't weaken her argument that her car is gone. She's lost a ton of money through no fault of her own. Look, I am happy that you've got your life together. The responsibility, though, is clearly yours. Your inheritance, it's your money. So you're the one that has to let Grandma know there's a lawsuit, and this judgment will make it clear that that money has to be paid. That's your responsibility. So therefore, I find in favor of the plaintiff $5,000. Thank you. And good luck to you.
I think they are right that, you know, I have to accept my adulting and that it was my fault at the end of the day.
I was mad. I did care about her. I don't want everybody that's watching this to think that I didn't care. Obviously I did, but that's a lot of money I invested into a car.
She's helping me with everything that I need.
I know she went through a lot, and I care about her. So I'm gonna just take this, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna let it go.
Hey YouTube, thanks for watching. For more Judge Jerry, click here. For more Jerry Springer, click here.